This lively, elongated dog dates back to the 15th century. Pronounced Dachshund, it means badger dog in German. Join us for this episode of the Paw Report, where a special guest talks about her lifelong friendship with this small, playful breed. Production for the Paw Report is made possible by Inyart Tire and Auto Center in Charleston and Mattoon. Inyart offers complete auto repair. Inyart Tire and Auto Center cares about our community and thanks you for being a responsible pet owner. More information at inyart.com. And thanks for joining us for this edition of the Paw Report. And we have three very special guests joining us today. Well, on my lap here is Rufus, and we have Shoddy over to my left, and then also a special guest, Betty Potts, who has been raising and breeding miniature wire-haired Dachshunds for more than 50 years. So we thank you so much, Betty, for joining us and bringing your friends. I think old Rufus here and we've made quick friends, really. He's been giving me lots of kisses. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise on this breed. You've spent a lot of time with these little dogs, and we're going to start with the meaning of Dachshund, and they date back to, boy, the 15th, 16th, 17th century. What is the history behind this wonderful breed?
Well, they were originally called badger hounds, and that's what the German, of course, is. And they were long-legged, long-bodied little dogs. As we have developed the breed, we have changed it quite a bit to still long-bodied but short-legged dog. And these are miniature Dachshunds as opposed to the standard. And these dogs should be 11 pounds or under to be classified as a mini. And they're bred to chase small vermin like mice, rats, rabbits.
I bet you they find some in your yard, don't they?
Yes, yes.
Rufus here looks like he might be on the hunt for anything that's small and running around in the vegetation. Do you find that with your dogs at home?
Yes.
Well, why do you think that the Dachshund is one of the most popular breeds according to AKC registration statistics? I was looking at, just trying to familiarize myself with the dog, and that was one thing that I kept running into is these little guys are pretty popular.
Yes, they are. Yes, because they're so sweet and they adapt well to living in a home, and they need some exercise, but not a lot. Mm-hmm. And they need a yard to run in, and they need to be walked. But they're really happy right on your lap, as you can see.
They are. I just met Rufus not too long ago, and he's palled right up. So they're very sweet. They're very loving. They like to give kisses. How were you introduced to this breed? As we mentioned, you've been loving on these little dogs for more than 50 years. What was the attraction for you?
Well, I always loved dogs, and my husband and I were living in New Mexico, and we met a couple that had been stationed in Germany, and they had brought back a pair of long-haired Dachshunds. And we loved those dogs, and when they had a puppy, we bought it, and that was our first dog.
And to this day, how many do you have at home?
I have 12.
You have 12 of these little guys. Do they all get along? I mean, how do you maintain a household with 12 of these little guys?
I have, right now I have 8 in the kennel and 4 in the house right now. They get along well except for the males. There's some of my males get along fine, but others I keep separate.
What gives you the most joy about these dogs?
Well, I think probably their companionship, because they're right there all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What is the difference between, we mentioned these are mini wired hair
Yes.
Dachshunds, as opposed to some of the other varieties of the breed. Can you talk about the different kinds and maybe explain the differences?
Well, I think probably the smooth Dachshund might have been the first Dachshund, might have had a smooth coat. And then they developed the wires to protect them when they were out in the weeds and in the brambles and the thorns and so on. And then the long coat, probably for the same reason. The long coat is pretty easy to groom. The wire hairs take quite a bit more work, and of course the smooths require nothing but brushing.
Mm-hmm. What is the breed standard for the miniatures?
Well, it should be a short-legged, long-bodied dog with depth of chest, a nice round oval chest, a forechest in front here, tight shoulders, nice long ribbing, a head with a Roman nose, oval eyes. That's pretty much it. They also should be brash, and
they're different colors too.
Yes.
I mean these two are very different. So they're different colored standards. I'm assuming as well.
This is a red, and Rufus is a wild boar, which I think was the original color of
a wild
Dachshunds.
boar.
Wild boar color.
Wonder, was that because of the animal, the wild boar, the color of that, or is it just?
I don't know. It was just the color that they developed first.
And what other colors are there?
Black and tan, chocolate, dapple. The Dachshund Club of America does not approve of white on a Dachshund, but it will allow a small white spot on the chest. Therefore, you may see some pieballs or double dapples, but that is not something that can be shown. That's disqualified.
What are pieballs?
It's a dog that looks kind of like a beagle. It's got a lot of white on it.
And I don't believe I've ever seen a white Dachshund. Does that sometimes happen just in the breeding process, or how? I've just always seen the colors like you've brought today.
Well, some people breed for color, but that's really not in my opinion, it's not a good thing. Yeah.
You've been a part of dog shows for a long time. In fact, before we began this interview, you talked about how you were getting ready to go to another show. What is that process like as far as getting your dogs ready, and take us through the show process? And when you get to the show, what goes on at an event like this, and how do you get your dogs ready for such a big event?
Well, first of all, you teach them to stand on a table, and would you like for me to show you how we do that?
Absolutely, that would be wonderful. And I know that you brought your tools there. That would be interesting because these little guys have beards. There's your buddy, Rufus. So how do you begin to teach them? Look at that stance.
When you get, your puppies are about 8 weeks old or 7 weeks old, you start teaching them to stand. Just stand. This is a young dog, and she hasn't been shown very much.
Chotty is how old?
She's 1.5 years.
She's 1.5 years.
Yeah.
So when she's about, you said how old do you begin teaching them this stance process?
Well, like when they're 7 weeks old.
And what I can only imagine as a little puppy, they don't want to have much to do with that, do they? Unless you've got a pocket full of treats.
Well, yes, that helps a lot.
So you begin to teach them how to stand, and then, I mean, there's obviously so much more to it than that. So once you begin that process, what's after that, and when do you decide it's time to start showing?
You have to teach her to stand when a judge comes up to her, and the judge will go over her and check her out and check the ribbing and the keel and the chest and all that, and also check the teeth.
Ooh, what do you see, Rufus? You wish you were on the table, don't you?
And then you have to teach them to walk beside you. And it takes some time, but that's
How many
about it.
different shows have you? It's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of lights in here, isn't there? How many different shows have you been to, and maybe some of the most memorable shows? And I'm sure they may have to do with winning different dogs. What do you see? Huh? See a lot of TVs?
Well, DCA is the biggest show that we go to.
And that stands
as far
for?
as our breed
Oh, okay.
goes. Dachshund Club of America. And I've had a few wins at the DCA shows, which I think that's very nice because there's a lot more competition there.
And it's always, how does that actually work? Is it all miniatures? Is it all wired hairs or wire haired?
Well, it's all Dachshunds, and the breeds are they're divided into smooth, long, and wire, and the wires show against the wires, and the smooths against the smooths, and so on. And then we have best of breed, where we have the best wire, the best smooth, and the best long hair show against each other.
And you've won. You've been to that competition and have taken home some hardware, I guess, if you will.
Some ribbons, yeah. And some points.
Do you judge as well? Have you been in that
No,
arena
I don't
too?
really care for judging.
You just like to bring how many dogs do you usually take to a competition?
Well, I was up in Grays Lake, Illinois, and I took 3 dogs and showed 3 dogs.
All different colors, all different.
I showed this one and 2 others.
And you said that Rufus here has been a winner.
Yes, he's a champion.
He's a champion. Now explain what that.
We have to show until we get 15 points, and 2 of those points have to be majors, which means you have to beat a certain number of dogs and get at least a 3-point major. It's pretty complicated, but you have to keep working until you get to 15 points, and then AKC gives you a championship, and then you show against other champions.
Have you ever in your 50 years of handling these little guys thought maybe going to a different breed, or is this it for you?
I've thought about other breeds, but
they bring you so much joy. What is your household like on a daily basis when you get up and have to tend and care and play and talk to and train all of your animals? Take me through the day at the Potts household.
When you first get up, you take care of the dogs. Get dressed and you take care of the dogs. You feed them and put them out, and then you clean up after them and wash down the runs and clean out crates if you need to.
Do you think and you've got so much experience with these dogs, that if somebody out there was thinking about a family pet, would they make a good companion? And if so, why do you think? I know you talked about why they bring so much joy, but to somebody that is not as close to them, would they be a good family dog to bring into the home?
Well, it depends. Dachshunds don't do stairs well, and so it's better not to have a house with a lot of stairs if you're going to have a Dachshund.
Your mom's right over there. So not a lot of steps then.
And it's better if a household doesn't have young children, because young children can pick them up and drop them or step on them.
Any good stories that you might have from any of your experiences? Maybe it was a special, I know you've had so many dogs over the years, but maybe there was one that just grabbed your heart and just had you wrapped around their finger. Any stories of remembrance that you'd like to share with our viewers about all your 4-legged family members?
Well, probably Veronica was a really, really special dog. She looked kind of like this when she was a red one. And she house trained herself, and we went to a lot of shows, and she did a lot of winning, and she would sleep with me, and she was just a very special little dog.
When you show them, talk about when you get into the ring and what exactly you have to do. And you know, most of us have seen dog shows on television, but it's a process.
Yeah.
And
it's just like Westminster, only it's a smaller ring. Mm-hmm. It's not that big a ring.
So you get in and you have one shot to go around. Well, you display them, and then you have one shot to.
That's right.
To take them for a walk. What happens? I mean, can you sense when dogs have good days and bad days, when they're just not feeling being at a show?
I think they're usually up, unless there's something else bothering them. Mm-hmm. Like if there's a female in season that's bothering them. Mm-hmm.
Do these little guys have any funny habits that you might have noticed that, you know, I've been a dog owner all of my life, and I can always pick out funny things that my dogs would do if, just given the breed. I have Labradors, so they're quite quirky up until about 3 or 4 years old. But what about the Dachshunds? Do they do anything that a little out of the ordinary or funny or strange?
Well, I don't know about other breeds, but if they see a toy, the first thing they do is take the squeaker and the stuffing out of it immediately. Toys don't last very long at my house.
Do you eat a lot of toys, Rufus? Do they fight with their other family members over treats and toys and space and beds and all of that good stuff?
Well, we try not to let them do that.
Well, they're little guys. Any specific health problems that Dachshunds encounter? You know, labs, and again, I talk about labs because that's what I have, but sometimes they have hip problems, or I had a lab that had a torn ACL because they're rambunctious. What about the Dachshunds?
Well, Dachshunds tend to have IVDD, back trouble, disc trouble.
And they like to bark, don't they?
Yes.
When you have a house
They
full,
do.
When you have a house full of 12 dogs, I can only imagine that's a chorus.
They're good watchdogs.
They are good watchdogs.
They are.
They are good watchdogs. What about if somebody is out there wanting to bring a Dachshund into their home? What are some things that they should know, that they should consider, and where should they go to find one? You know, what is the best place to go to make sure that you get a full-bred dog?
Well, I think they should try to get in touch with a member of a Dachshund club. Now, I mentioned DCA, Dachshund Club of America. That's the parent club, the big club. But there are other dog clubs too, like there's the Hoosier Dachshund Club, which I belong to. And there's a list of members on the websites. And then there's Lincoln Land Dachshund Club here in Illinois, which I also belong to. So it's a good idea to contact a dog club if you want a nice dachshund.
What about other training? Are they easy? It's okay, Rufus. Are they easy dogs to train? And you mentioned briefly when you get a puppy and you start training them for show, but not everybody's going to show them. So what about that process as far as interacting them with people and house training and that sort of thing?
Well, I think Dachshunds have a mind of their own.
Rufus has a mind of his own. He keeps singing, yeah.
And it takes patience. Mm-hmm. I sold a dog to a girl from Morton, Illinois, and she has taken her through all kinds of activities, agility and earth dog and obedience and rally and all kinds of activities, and she's got a long string of letters after the dog's name. And I ask her, how did you do this? And she says, patience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's your advice that you'd give to all dog owners?
Yes, but especially Dachshund owners.
What one funny story that you might have with your group now of 12? And how long are you going to continue to do this? Is this something that you can't see yourself doing? Always having these little dogs around.
I don't think I get along without a Dachshund. So I do try not to get too many because it's a lot of work to take care of them and keep them groomed.
Mm-hmm. And do you get a lot of people interested in maybe coming to see you or to talk to you just for your advice and your knowledge about the dogs, and look to you for guidance and assistance when they're bringing a dog into their home?
Well, I'm working with a girl right now that I've met in Charleston Dog Club, who has a Dachshund puppy. I'm trying to give her some pointers.
That's nice. Well, Betty, we so appreciate you coming on and bringing your two friends and talking about your experience and knowledge with the breed. It's always nice, like I said, I'm familiar with one breed, but it's always interesting to learn about others and their history and their past, and just to meet them in person and get to play with them, right, Rufus? And share some kisses. These two, they like to kiss. That's the other funny thing about these little guys. They like to share the love. Betty, thank you so much for joining us today. Did you know full episodes of the Paw Report are on YouTube? They can be accessed at www.youtube.com/WEIUTV. Then just go to the Paw Report playlist and select the episode you want to see. More information about the show is available 24/7 on our website at WEIU.net under the Television tab. If you are a veterinarian, trainer, groomer, specialist, rescue organization, or shelter that would like to partner with the Paw Report by providing expert guests for the show, please contact us by emailing weiu@weiu.net or call 217-581-5956. If you have a topic you'd like to see on the show or questions for our experts, contact us with those too. Facebook and Instagram can be a great way to make new friends, but an Alabama company has come up with a way for your pets to be social too. Liz Cosgrove has the story.
For those of us who are passionate about animals, we know there are not many things in life more personal than the bond we share with our pets.
Lee Todd adores his two 16-week-old pugs, Lily and Piper. The minute you walk through the door of his home, you can see the love he has for animals. But finding buddies for Lily and Piper to play with can be difficult.
We live our lives here, and sometimes we don't even know when there are people 5 doors down who are just as passionate about animals as we are.
That's why Todd's company, Fallen Silo, put their passion for pets and their technology background together to create the app called PetWink.
Our vision for PetWink is to help foster new friendships and new relationships and to build a strong, vibrant community of pet enthusiasts.
This app can allow you to post photos of your pet. You can also give someone's pet photo a wink, meaning you like their photo. And of course, you can make friends with pet lovers in your hometown or across the country, which can lead to
anything from organizing an afternoon dog walking club to organizing a major fundraising event for local pet charities. Big social media today has a target audience of everyone. And while that can be okay, it serves a purpose, but sometimes you just need a place that's more personal and where you can interact with people that you know share similar interests as you.
Have a video or photo of your pet doing something funny or absolutely adorable? We'd love to share it with our viewers here at the Paw Report. Email it to weiu@weiu.net and you can see it on our show. Just make sure it's video taken by you or that you have permission to share it. For more information about how to get that video or photo to us, email or call 217-581-5956. Production for the Paw Report is made possible by Inyart Tire and Auto Center in Charleston and Mattoon. Inyart offers complete auto repair. Inyart Tire and Auto Center cares about our community and thanks you for being a responsible pet owner. More information at inyart.com.